Hi, everybody. Well, wait, we have a couple people in there. James, hello. It's so nice to have you home for a little while. Tracy, hello. How are you? So good to see you on this Wednesday. Yes, James is home for the week, so I'm super excited to have him as my IT guy today again. I do okay by myself, but it's always good to have him around. So, okay, we are live on Trinity Stamps, and we are going to be making an A7 card, but as the title says, we're going to be playing with cover plates. I like for my products, when I buy things, to go a little bit further, maybe use a little more mileage, or maybe look at a product and use it a little differently than I might normally think to use it for or what it's typically made for. So, hi Julie, how are you? The Crafty Dragon, I like that. That's cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what we're using today. We have our Thankful for You stamp set. This was released last year, but it's a winner. You know, it's gnomes. It's hard to go wrong with gnomes, and we have the matching dies to go with it. So that's going to be our main image. Then we're going to be using this new oak leaf windows. Now this is a mini slimline. Fabulous die, love it. Not only does it have all these little intricate pieces it cuts out, but it also gives this beautiful embossed edge all the way around. I have a little, an example sort of here to show you. And then we also have the embossed edge circle stacks dies. I have grown just fallen in love with all the embossed edging. It just adds this bit to your cards or your projects that is like, it takes it over the edge, and I love it. So we've got that as well. We're going to be spraying with a little bit of distress oxide sprays. We also have some embellishments, and we'll talk about those as we get to them. But let's start with our spraying, and then we can go into our next bit, because we do need things to dry. So I'm going to pull in my splatter box. And I did cut it down, so maybe it won't be so dark. Oh, that did help. Leave it to James. He had the idea. All right, now I do need to be a little careful since I have green and red, and if those mix together, it's going to get brown. But honestly, since this is a fall card, I'm not super concerned about that. In fact, maybe that'd be good. Who knows? So this is just going to be the under piece, and you'll understand it a little more as we get going. So I'm going to shake these up, and I'm going to do a little bit of spritzing. Ooh, that's a bit much. And then we'll bring in our fossilized amber. The nice thing about the way the red and the yellow go together is that they're going to make an orange. So we're going to get some brown in here, and they will layer on top of each other, so I do love that. Let's see if we can bring in a little bit more of that red so that it's not so in a couple spots. And this is just going to be in that background, so I'm not worried about this having some sort of a pattern or anything. Okay, so we have some. And then I'll even bring in a little splatter later. But I like that. I'm happy with it. Well, maybe a little more green. A little more green. Let's do some splatter of some green. Let's do that. Well, let's hope it's going to be cool, James. I didn't practice this ahead of time, so we'll see. Okay, the splatter's cool. And then I'm going to set this off to the side to dry. This is just some regular cream-colored cardstock that I had in my stash. This isn't watercolor paper, so you don't want to saturate this if that's what you plan to use. If you have watercolor paper, go to town. Saturate all you want. So let's move this out of the way. And we'll let that dry. And then we'll bring in our pieces so we can kind of discuss what we're going to be doing with them. That probably won't take that long to dry. All right. So as I said, oak leaf windows. You know what? Let's do our coloring first. That will definitely ensure that we're going to get some everything dry. So I went ahead and just went ahead and yay, splattered, Tracy, right? You knew it was going to happen. There may be more later, who knows? I went ahead and stamped this onto some more of that cream cardstock that I was using earlier, and I die cut it out. I just taped it back into place. That'll just save a little bit of time. I like to do this if I am needing to, thank you, James. It was his suggestion, by the way. I like to do this if I'm planning to be out and about or whatnot, and I want to color while I'm out, or maybe assemble a card while I'm out and about, but obviously can't take my die cutting machine with me. So let's zoom in a bit. There we go. And we have all kinds of various colors. Let's see if I can remember where I wanted to use them. Okay, and I'll put them up on the screen as best I can. So let's start with their little skin tones. We're going to go with some E13 and E15. Put that up on the screen so that you can see it. All right, and it's just their hands. I did stamp this out using some Blackout ink, so it's Copic friendly. Now the paper I used isn't something I would normally just grab for Copic coloring, but it works fine. Isn't going to give me the best blend. So that's where I'm going to have to do the work. Okay, so then I'll bring in some E15. All right, so what is everybody up to today besides hanging out with me, which I am super thrilled that you're doing? I have a house full and I love it. So our son's back in town just for the next couple of weeks and my in-laws are here. So we are enjoying some wonderful family time. It's already been great and they just got into town yesterday. So, all right, now let's do their beards. Their beards are going to be dark, not like older gnomes. We're going to make them younger gnomes, I guess. Or maybe they dye their beards. I don't know. Their call. So we're going to start with some E49 and E59. So we'll start with the E59. And then we'll just color that in. I just thought it'd be fun to bring in, especially since this was a cream colored cardstock and not white like I typically use. I thought it might be fun to bring in some warmer colors for around that cream. Yeah. And then we can add some shadowing with our darker color. Okay, so his beard's going out that way. And we're just going to do his beard the same color. As I said, I didn't practice this card ahead of time. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just don't have the time for that. But I just knew this would work because why not? And it's card making. That is sometimes the fun of it, is to just jump in and see what you can do without having it all planned all the time. Okay, I like that. I like the little beard, all dark. Okay, so now we're going to bring in the E49 and just do some little flicking to give like the feeling of movement with the hair and add some shadowing and shading where it might be. All right. Just hanging out, huh? Aren't the gnomes the best, Julie? So you're hanging out, Tracy. I am. Our house has been full, and I'm telling you, could not be happier. It has, you know, it does a soul good. So, okay. All right, so we got some good flicking. We got some hair going on in there. Now we'll move on to his hat. So I'm going to bring in some teals for that. I figured I'd bring in just a little bit of pop of blue there. So we'll start with some BG15. Okay. And it's interesting because I was looking at my white chart. I try to use, like when I do swatches, I try to do swatches on the colors that I would typically use them on so that I know what it's going to look like, because obviously it's going to look a little different on different colors of cardstock. And I didn't look at my cream colored cardstock spot or my swatch. I just was looking at the white. So this is definitely going to turn out a little different than what I pictured in my head, but I think it's all going to be good. I'm not hating. Okay, so now we'll bring in our BG07 for a little bit of movement, or a little. Okay. But I like it. I'm liking this. That's fun. Oh, I know. Teal on fall cards. It is, you know, kind of an untapped. It isn't done as often, and I love it. I love teal. Anyway, I keep thinking, oh, eventually it's going to go out of style. Like, I don't know if anybody remembers back in like the 70s, I think in the 80s, like harvest gold and avocado green were the colors, and I think there was an orange in there. And I keep thinking, is teal going to be like that? And it's eventually going to be like, what were people thinking? But so far, not me. I have a teal colored chair. I love it so much. Hey, Mary, how are you? You didn't miss it. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so now let's bring in our oranges. And these are going to be some YRs. So, and no, you didn't. You didn't miss it, Mary. But I am super glad you're here. Okay, so I'm going to color all my pumpkins the same. I'm going to start with that YR24. I love the orange and the teal together, so yeah. Carrie's card was super great. She's such an inspiration. Love that gal. Yeah, all right. Ooh, missed a little bit of hair, so it looks like I got to color that back in here in a bit. And you'll notice I'm not really coloring or blending this out. I probably should, but it all depends on the look you're going for. All right. Using lots of flicking motions. And if you'll notice, I actually usually, if it's a rounded image for sure, I don't go all the way to the edge. That gives that illusion that whatever you're coloring is rounded. So I tend to not do that. You know, I am going to bring in that BG15 because that is starting to not bug me, but I want it to blend a little. And hopefully that's not too dry to actually blend. Okay, I'm happier. Now I am going to bring in the YR24. I'll bring that back in and just kind of blend the edges a little bit. Otherwise, I sort of like that it's a little bit more harsh. Okay, need to come in for his beard, because that's down here. And then we need to do the stems. And so let's do this YG17 for the stems. Normally I would probably do them brown, but there's a lot of brown going on here. So I'm just going to do those stems with it. Thanks, Mary. I'm glad you like it. No, Mick, you're not. Don't worry about it. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, and I want to do the orange on the patches and the dots. And then we'll just have their shoes to do. So that's easy enough. But I do like these images because they're fairly quick to color, I think. And they're cute. They're the gnomes. You know what, though, the other day I was shopping for some fall decor, and James was with me, and James poo-pooed on all of the gnomes. I was like, oh, let's get a little gnome. He's like, no gnomes. I was like, what is happening? Poo-pooed on all my little gnomes. Okay, so we're going to bring in some W because these are a little bit warmer colors, and I'm just going to color in the boots with the W4. Okay. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, and then we'll bring in the W's. Do I have W? Oh, my W6 is dry. I need to get some more refills, but, you know, it's funny because I feel like refills and like tape runners are not my favorite thing to buy. I'd rather buy stamps and dies and things. Okay, so now we have our little gnome all good to go. We're going to back out here. Ooh, or zoom in, one or the other. All right, so we've got him done. We'll set him off to the side. And now, because all of this is dry, we're good to go. I know it looks like a lot, but I know, Mary, he said no gnomes, right? I love gnomes. I love gnomes for fall. I love them for Christmas. Okay, so I did die cut out 4 of our panels, and my thought process with that was that I was going to have them go over the top of our background, and it looks like a lot right now. I have all the little pieces taped into place because I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do, and now I know what I want to do. So I'm going to pop out all of the pieces. So there, and I'll show you how many pieces there are. I'm not worried about those center pieces, but we'll just poke all those out. But look at this. Not only do you get an outline, you also get the little oak leaf. And then you also have and there's some stitching on there too. It's beautiful, right? Oh, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this piece out. I'm not going to have that piece in there, but we are going to put this piece back in the center. So let me pull all of those out. And we'll pop all those. I may save these for another, for another card down the road. But we're going to pop all those pieces out and start assembling that way. So fun. Right, makes you kind of want gnomes, doesn't it, Mary? James! James! That might be why our kid is terrified of dolls. I probably couldn't have gnomes in the house anyway. Okay. So this is what this piece is going to look like with all that popped out. So here was my thought process. I'll get all those ready to go. Let me pop all those out. I probably should have had that done ahead of time, but I wanted you to see what I was talking about. So. Thanks for sticking up for me, guys. I'm still betting the answer will be no to the gnomes, but I love gnomes. I think they're so cute. In fact, one of my best friends made me a little sock gnome. It's like this, a sock, like she got from the dollar store, and then she made it into a little gnome with, I think it might have been another sock and some stuffing and then little beard stuff. You know, it was so cute. It's a Christmas time gnome. So James hasn't said anything about him, probably because my bestie made it, but okay. So there's a lot to this. I should have had these more prepared, but that just means I get to hang out with you guys just a little bit longer. So is everybody all decorated for fall? Does it even feel like fall where you are? It started to feel like fall where we were last week, and now it's going to be back up in the 80s, so not feeling like fall now, but the mornings are still kind of crisp and cool. There we go. That one was easy to come out. And I may not even need all those pieces. We will see as we put these onto our, there we go. I'm just making a mess. That's what I'm doing. Okay, last one, because I needed 4. Like I said, I'd probably save these pieces. I just love it. I love that there is, you know, lots of options for this die. And again, doing it this way made me feel like I was getting a little bit more mileage. Now, I love making mini slimline. I think they're super fun. But this was just another way to use it. Okay, so let me start placing that on there. And then we're just going to use some liquid glue to do it. Do you, Mary? Oh, I bet you decorate. So cute. Crafters usually do. Okay, so we're gonna, might have a little bit of glue outside of that, and that's okay. Oops. Okay, and then we'll just line this one right up with it. Okay. Finally finished decorating for fall this week. So excited. Oh, you are good, Tracy. Yeah, I bet in the mountains. Oh, are you starting to see leaves change color? That I cannot wait for. Oh, a little snow. Oh, I missed that part. Ooh, then you're definitely ready for some fall, aren't you? Okay, and then we'll attach this one down. Okay, what do we got here? I think that's enough. Like I said, we're going to have some of it sticking. Some of the glue's going to stick to our thing, but that is okay. And then see how that one's going to be attached down. All right. Okay, so that is what I was kind of thinking. And then the next thing we'll need to do, Wish you'd get some snow this year. Well, you might, Mary. You might. Where are you at? Okay, so that, when I put this in there, is going to leave... Oh, these are a little different. Ooh, should have thought about that, huh, Cass? Okay. All right. So this one's definitely a middle one. Okay, so keep that in mind. These leaves are a little bit different. Each one is a little bit different, so pulling those out, now I'm going to have to try and figure out where exactly they go. So that one is the middle. Another thing you could do is you could run this through a Xyron sticker maker. That is a way you could do it. Then you just turn all these into stickers. See, I should have practiced, I guess, huh? Okay. All right. Sonoy, Georgia. Ooh, yes. Okay. Yep. You're definitely, you may get some, you may not, right? I suppose it's year to year, huh? You're not too far from me. Love it. All right. So this is going to be a little bit of a process. But I'm actually not going to be too worried if they don't match up perfectly. I'm going to be okay with that. See where we're headed though? I like this look. It's very cool. Okay. Yep, I went and found something at Hobby Lobby. You know, when they have their clearance sale, sometimes you can get some good stuff. I actually found a peach table runner, but it was orange on the back. It had peaches on the front, but it's reversible, so I'm using the back of it for my fall decorations. Yeah, I like the snow when it stays just for a little bit to get everything to close, and then it goes away. I don't want to drive in it. I don't want to deal with it. But yeah, I bet, Tracy, I bet you have to drive in it where you're at. You know, and all those years I spent in Nebraska, yep, driving in it. So can I? Yes. Do I want to? No. Okay, so we're getting there. Probably should have made this card ahead of time so I had an idea of how long this part would take, or at least had one partially prepared for you guys so you didn't have to watch me do all the gluing. But I guess that just means I get to hang out with you guys a little bit longer, which y'all know I do not mind. I am, Tracy. I went, and when we looked at the gnomes and Jim said no, I got a few little cutesy things, and then I actually got a box of fall decor. It was like a surprise box through this one company. So you really, I mean, you sign up and you don't know what you're getting, but it's always worth like 3 times what you pay for it. So I knew I wouldn't be disappointed. Even if there was like maybe 1 or 2 things in there that I wasn't thrilled about, I knew I'd like most of it, and I was right. So that one made me happy. Okay, we'll just add a few of these in there. And I didn't put out a ton because I think once we're here, like, and we don't move anymore, you know, back at this house, I'll probably go nutso for fall. But for now, having to move it all just kind of gets me out of the mood. Now for Christmas this year, y'all know I'm going to go crazy because we're going to have tons of family around for my daughter's wedding. And I'm so excited. It should be so fun. We've got family coming in that we weren't sure we're going to be able to, and it's just hearing it is just making me so happy. So I'm going to go crazy. In fact, I need to look for Black Friday, kind of keep an eye out for a Christmas tree to go on sale, because I've decided for part of the decorations for my daughter's wedding. Yeah, of course, lots of snacks, absolutely. For her wedding, we're going to decorate part of the hall with a Christmas tree because they've decided the little favor that they want to give everybody is an ornament with their picture on it, which I thought was such a cute idea. So I'm going to make those. Love that idea too. And all the invitations are made. I got them all done. All right, and I even have 2 left over to save for later. Okay, so we'll just put that mess up there in the corner. All right, so there we have it. I'm going to set this off to the side, the glue that is. And then what we're going to do while this is sort of drying, oh, Tracy, it's been so much fun. She decided she didn't want real flowers, so that meant creative license to go and pick up like fake flowers and have a good time with that. Hey Debbie, how you doing? All right, so then how I'm going to do this is I'm going to take it like so, and I'm going to put it in my guillotine trimmer the best that I can, because this is going to be a little bit big. And I'm going to try and line it up along that border and then just cut down. For me, that's the easiest way I have found. So then it'll be perfectly cut on that edge. Same thing with this edge. All right. You like that idea, Mary? I have been busy, Tracy, but it has been such a fun busy. I'm so grateful that, well, one, that she'd even want me to make her invites. But this has been a fun little bonding time because she's been, oops, that's kind of not working. She's been so busy with school that, you know, I don't always get to see her very much, but we're soaking up that time as much as possible. You know, because once she gets married, you know how it is. Okay. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, that background turned out way cooler than I thought. Okay. Thanks, Debbie. Yeah, I made a little bit of a mess. That took a little bit of time, but I'm okay with mess because we're crafters. So there you go. Okay. So there's our background. We already have our gnome. And then I'm going to use this embossed circle edge. And I went ahead and cut out a circle. So we'll set those off to the side because we're done with those. And then I'll pop out our little gnome. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I'm really liking this. This turned out pretty good. This is fun. Okay. So this is going to be our background. Ooh. And then I went ahead and stamped with some Twiggy brown onto some like Nina, can't remember what this one is. More of the Nina Craft cardstock. I don't think that's what they call it. But I stamped it and I die cut it out. So we'll have thankful and for you. So I love that Trinity Stamps does that we get, not only you have the words, but then you have the word dies. Okay, so let's start assembling everything or putting everything down. We'll assemble this card. So what do you think of that background? I love how we've got different variations of color coming through. Sad that I'm now covering part of that. That's okay, that's part of it. Okay, and then do I want to pop him up on a little bit of foam tape? I think I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to adhere him down, adhere these guys down, just using our same liquid glue. Foam tape would be fun, but since this is a 5x7, I want to make sure that this mails just fine. Not that it wouldn't if you had foam tape, but that just adds a little more bulk. All right, now let's figure out where we want our thankful for you. Do I want it down here? I think I like that. I think that's where we're going to put it. All right, because I originally was thinking, oh, I'll do this on black cardstock and maybe even emboss it with like a cream embossing powder, but I did not like how the cream sat on the black, so I decided against that. Okay, I really just want that background, not necessarily to be the star of the show, but to really pop. But that is a fun way to use a... I know, Debbie, the gnomes are... Thank you, Tracy, Nina Desert Storm. And thank you, Debbie. Yes, the gnomes are so stinking cute. Okay, So now that I've got that panel all done, of course I have to do a little something on the inside. So I'm going to make it easy on myself, and we're just going to stamp our gnomes right on the inside. Sorry about that noise. Just on the inside, just using a colored ink. Let's see which one we're going to grab. Let's grab Slippery When Wet. And everything that I've used that you know, this Trinity stamps, you can find that linked down below. So you can go right to the shop if it's something that you're interested in snagging. Yes. And then I think I'm going to leave it there. So I'll have plenty of room to write to my recipient. I have such a gluey mess all over my, you know, before we go any further, let's clean that up just a tiny bit. Because there is glue all over, and that's why I like working on the glass mat, because it's easy cleanup. Gets that glue right up. I'm a messy crafter, y'all know this. All right, and then to finish it off, obviously, we're going to just take our, and I always love how Carrie puts a little heart on the background of hers. Thank you. The gnomes are just adorable. Whatever James thinks. Just too bad, buddy. Okay, I noticed a couple places where I've got to add some more glue because I don't want all that popping up in the mail. Here's one. Okay. All right, so I think that's it. Oh, and then of course maybe we should add some embellishments. Let's see how these little hearts. I don't know if you know that these are in the Trinity Stamp Store. These are called the Peachy embellishments, but they are little tiny. Some of them are bigger hearts. They're all different sizes. So let me take that and put that up by the screen so you can see. They're so cute, and I love that they're different sizes. So let's see how these are going to look on there. I like the addition. All right, we're going to do a few little hearts because, you know, can't not have some embellishments on there. And there's some that are kind of milky looking, some that are a little bit more clear. I like them both. Why am I doing that when I have my pickup stick? Thank you, Julie. All right, so I've got my pickup stick. We can add those down. I have glue all over my fingers. That is the downside to doing what I'm doing here, I guess. We'll just add that one there. Now we just have to glue them in place. Okay, so we'll just glue a few down. But I love how the pickup stick just grabs everything really well. And it's really affordable. So if you don't have one of these yet and you've been eyeballing it, but you know, the ones you see are a little more expensive. This one, I love it. I have a few different pickup sticks, or whatever you want to call them, embellishment dealies. This one, it's not picking up because I have glue stuck to it. Of course. And because we're live. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, so there we go. All right. All right, friends, I think that is going to do it. I'm so happy with how that turned out. I'm so excited that I got to share it with you all and that you were here to see me do it because I hadn't practiced this one ahead of time. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to let y'all go so I can go hang out with some family, but be sure to check out the Trinity Stamps Facebook page and their Instagram. There's always lots going on, the blog. There are a couple other lives. Linnea does a live over on the Facebook page, and Carrie does a live over on Instagram, different days of the week. And so, yeah, but hey, I'm so glad you all stopped in. Go off and be amazingly creative and know how much you're loved. Bye, everybody.